Hi, I'm Jeff,
And I'm Sarah.
and here we are in the lovely Denver, Colorado. And we're about to give you the video recap for our fourth and final class in our all levels drag blues boot camp in June of 2012. In this class, we talked about making the dance your own. So, what are the ideas that you can bring into all the movements that we talked about in the earlier classes? So the first couple things we talked about are changes in tempo, in rhythm, and changes in levels. So just to remind you, right, if we have our drag walks, here we are in our default, our lunge, our home base, and then we can take nice slow steps, but then we can go quicker, change the tempo, and we can change rhythms with that. So slow, quick, quick, slow, or anything from there. We can also change the levels. So we can go, here's our default, then we can go up, back down to default, then we can go really low, then back up, and play around with that. So remember, for doing these things, we thought about adding a little tone, elongating our posture. When we go up, we have to go a little bit onto our toes. We can't take as large of steps. You should play around with that and see what you're comfortable with. And also,
And leads being very clear when you're changing the level and giving the follow enough time so that she can also change the level with you.
okay. Then we talked about posture. So posture is how we hold ourselves, and we have a default posture, but you have free range to change your posture from that default depending on the situation. All right, so this is a posture, this is a posture, this is a posture, this is a posture. And so we could play around with all of this in our dance. So if this is our normal lunge, we could do something like this, and that's a change in posture. We want to be careful not to make anything uncomfortable though, but given that constraint, making sure it's comfortable, we can play around. We could do something like this. We also talked about, in the context of our circles, if we just change our posture while we're stepping around, we get what we call a mess around, which is just initiated from a posture change in our circle, our wobble circle from earlier.
So to point out, Jeff mentioned make sure that these are comfortable. Not just comfortable for you though as the lead, but make sure that they're comfortable positions for the follow too.
Yeah. And also, just to remind you that this mess around that we're doing is a whole body mess around. It's initiated from a change in posture like this, and it's not just like a thing happening in our hips.
And these level changes or rhythm changes that we did, you can add them in elsewhere besides just walks. And we did them in circles in the class too.
Yeah, so see where you can add them into your promenades and elsewhere as well. And we also talked about embellishments with the arm. So remember, we could add a little emphasis with the arm, do a little something. But again, remember that it should be really relaxed and comfortable, first and foremost. Yeah, and then lastly, we talked about continuity of movement, making sure that you have a nice continuation of your movement from step to step, as opposed to a sort of jerky step, stop, step, stop. All right, so we challenge you to practice all of your walks and having it be nice and continuous.
Yeah, and that's something that you should work on solo. And when you have it really nice solo, then you can do it together as a partner even better.
Perfect. All right, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming out and taking our boot camp, and we hope to see you guys somewhere soon.